Hello YouTube, this is Jamie from yugiohmcc. I've actually got a deck profile today. It is a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. It is a Genex. I actually had a Genex deck a long time ago. Got rid of all the spare cards I had on a video we did earlier in the year. That was very successful. A lot of people wanted the cards and a lot of people got what they wanted. But I actually went back to my Genex deck because it's just been sat in a deck box and changed it up a bit. I've made it more of a special summon, quickly synchro. It used to be just power, but I decided, it didn't really work. Sorry about the noise from the TV. I'm in another room and it's still loud. I'll start with the monsters. Got a Genex Furnace. If I control a face-up Genex controller, I can normal summon this card with attributing, which is a 5-star 2000. I have a Genex Blast Fan. When this card is special summoned, I can add one dark Genex from my deck to my hand. I have a Genex Crusher. When he's normal summoned, I can add an Genex monster level 1 to 4 to my hand from my deck. Genex Oracle. When he's added from my deck to my hand with the Genex effect, he's special summoned. Genex Spare. Once per turn, if I control another Genex monster, I can make this card's name Genex Controller until the end phase, which, I can use him as a synchro for the synchro because you have to use Genex controllers. I have a Genex Ally Remote. I can select a face-up monster I control on the field, and I can select, and that monster's name is treated as Genex Controller. So I just choose himself, and then he's a level 3 and he's a Genex Controller, which allows you to synchro again, because you have to use Genex Controller. I'll explain that when I get to the synchros. I have a Genex Doctor. I contribute one face-up Genex Controller to select and destroy one card on the field. I have an Genex Turbo. Allows me to add a level 1 Genex monster from my deck to my hand, which I add the level 1 earlier that is special summoned, and then it's a quick tuner. Genex Alex Changer. I can choose a monster on the field, and I can declare an attribute, and that is changed to that attribute, which is good because some of my Genex need wind, etc., and these wind and things like that, and these are all darks, so it allows me to synchro more different Genexes. I have two Genex Gaia. If this card would be destroyed, you can destroy one Genex controller I control instead. It keeps monsters on the field. Two Genex Turbine. I did keep aspects of the power, so it keeps the monsters on the field to allow special summoning and synchroing. All Genex monsters gain 400 attack. That's Genex Turbine's effect. I have three Genex Ally Bellflame. This is probably one of the most powerful cards. Plus, every time a monster I control is sent to the graveyard, I place one Genex counter on him. And for each counter, this gains 100 attack. And when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I inflict 300 damage to my opponent for every Genex counter. So, after 3 or 4 monsters, you're looking at taking a good 1,200 off your opponent just for him to be destroyed. Genex Alchemister, I have 2. I can declare one attribute and discard this card to select one face-up Genex monster and change that attribute. It's again allowing me to synchro the wind Genexes. 2 Genex controllers. I did have 3, but with the others that are treated as Genex controller, I didn't see the point, and they're more useful cards overall. But that's Genex controller. It's a very useful card in this deck anyway. I do have 3 Genex Ally Birdman, but the other one is at my friend's house, and I'm not sure why I left it there, but I'll have to get that back. Level 3 tuner. I can kill a monster, special summon him. My favourite card in this deck is Genex Ally Power Cell. I did have 3, and I bent one by accident, and I hate bent cards. So I am looking for another. If anyone's got any, check out my trade binder and I'll trade you for one. Basically, all darks gain 500 attack, which powers this deck up more than it needed, to be honest. And then I have 2 Genex Ally Reliever. Basically, his effect is if I negate the activation of a spell, trap, or effect monster's effect, I can special summon this card, and it's a quick 2/200 attack. And I do negate quite a lot of things in this deck. I then have Sword and Shield for things like Genex Gaia. His defense is really high, his attack is really low, it allows me to do a quick attack. Galaxy Wave. This is a Genex deck, and I only have one XYZ for it at the moment. But this weekend I'm planning on getting another 3 or 4 useful ones for it. So Galaxy Wave will be a useful card when I get the cards for it in the extra deck. Enemy Controller, pretty stable card. Rocket Pilder, another staple card. Lightning Vortex, another staple card. Limited Removal, because they are all machine, if I special summon a lot of them in one turn, which I can, Limited Removal allows 1 turn kills if I've got the right setup, but not very often I use Limited Removal unless they're attacking me and I need that monster to kill that one before it dies, because obviously it's killed after the battle phase. Then a Soul Release. Most of the good decks, the competitive decks, which I don't like the term competitive deck, I don't like it. They all need monsters in the graveyard to special summon, synchro summon from the graveyard using cards, and Soul Release really messes them up because I don't like competitive decks. If everyone has the same deck, it's boring. You know, you get bored of it. I don't see why you should all have the same deck, apart from maybe one different card that you put in to make it your own. It's just not worth it. Sorry about the random shade on the screen. My dog just randomly came up and stood right next to the camera. Ollie, you fool. But yeah, I don't see the point in competitive decks if you're only going to change one card for yourself. You should make your own deck from scratch. I'll move on to traps instead of ranting on about decks. A Sakuretsu, another staple card. Counter. That helps out negating things and special summon reliever. Conscription. If you're going against a deck like Elemental Hero Blue Eyes decks, Conscription is great. If the next card they were about to pull is Blue Eyes and you use Conscription, which I have done once, and I only used it once, and it was very nice to randomly get a Blue Eyes on the field when I don't have a Blue Eyes. Seven Tools Bandit obviously helps the negating. Changing Destiny, again, negate the attack, switch him to defense, etc. Miracle Locus, pick a monster of mine, it gains 1000 attack till the end phase. Half or Nothing, activate, this is the effect, activate only if you're during your opponent's battle phase. Your opponent selects one of the following effects. Halve the attack of the monster they control until the end phase, or end the battle phase. Another Changing Destiny, not sure why I didn't put them together. Dark Bribe, again, helps with negating, getting reliever out. I did actually have a Solemn Warning in this deck, but there's no point anymore. There's no point paying 2000 life points when you can just use Bottomless Trap Hole, not pay a thing, and it does the exact same job, and it's the exact, and they can both the same, apart from one you have to pay 2000 and Bottomless removes it from play, which makes it harder for them to get back. So Solemn Warning is a pretty shit card now, which I'm not that fussed about because I traded mine before they even changed the setup. I then have a Death Amulet, which allows me to negate their attacks by discarding, I believe it is a spell or something like that, or just one card, which again helps relieve it and guard mines. They are that's the deck. This is the side deck, well, extra deck. Got a Grenosaurus, that's the one XYZ we have. We have 3 Genex Triarm. He basically gains 3 effects depending on what you use to get it out. If it was a wind, I send 1 random card from my opponent's hand to the graveyard. If it was water, select 1 spell or trap on the field, destroy it. And if it was a dark, select 1 face-up light monster in the field and destroy it and draw 1 card. Then I have Windmill Genex, that's why I have to change it to wind, or if I want that effect, change that to wind. It's a pretty good card. It gains 200 attack for each face down spell or trap on the field, which in 4 ways, it can gain 2000, 3000 attack relatively easily. I have a Genex Triforce, very much like the first synchro. Different effects. Earth, if this card attacks your opponent, cannot activate spells or traps. Fire, if this card destroys a monster on the by battle, inflict battle damage equal to half of the attack. And light, once per turn, you can select one light monster in your graveyard and special summon it. We then have a Genex, which that's just an extra Genex card for if I run out, because I do synchro quite a lot. And my favourite, Locomotion R Genex, I actually gave this away in the giveaway. I had to go out and find another, which was extremely hard. Nobody seemed to have them, but I did find another. Because this, I gave away the only one I had. You see, all these I had doubles of. Some of them I had 4, 5, 6 of them. This one I only had one and I gave it away. And but I got it back. Basically, when it's synchro summoned, choose one monster in your opponent's field, and you get to control it. Even once he is killed, you still control their monster. So if you're going against a deck that's got a synchro on the field, just take control of the synchro, and it leaves them open as well. That is your Genex deck. It's not finished, so there will be one updating it when it's finished. I do need some more synchros, and I do want to change some of the spells and traps. But the monsters I've got in it are the ones I want, so just need to change some spells and traps, and then it should be done. And some XYZs. But yeah. Subscribe and comment below what you think. Comment on his other videos, look at his other videos, and if you want, give us a shout out. And if you want a shout out, tell us, and we'll give you a shout out, no problem.